and talking about the international relations, Professor Hu, what impact do these events have, do you think, on South Korea's international reputation? Obviously, it's known as a, perhaps still a youngish democracy, but maybe moving into a mature democracy, also a stable business environment. What's happened to that reputation now?
So if South Korea is unable to impeach Yoon Suk Yeol during this episode, I think the credibility of South Korea would definitely be tarnished at the moment. Japan has definitely have reduced trust on South Korea. He also did not assure the investors. So the very next day, we saw that the stock plummet and the currency also fluctuated. So it doesn't guarantee to the foreign investors in the sense that the labor unions throughout the country are now on strike, and they would not stop the strike if the President Yoon stepped down.
Right. And how, in your view, how close do you think South Korea got to becoming authoritarian, becoming a dictatorship, if the National Assembly hadn't moved so quickly?
Very close, actually. So when we saw that the lawmakers were hustling with the military personnel, we were so concerned that what if they were being arrested and not being allowed to sit in the assembly hall to vote for ending the martial law. And in fact, in the same night, there were rumors that the special force were dispatched to arrest some of the key opposition party members. So if that happened, I think martial law would have been implemented by now, and that would be a very concerning development, and luckily that didn't happen.
Professor Liou, if we went ahead with the scenario that the impeachment was successful, it was approved by Parliament, then the South Korea would have to hold an election, I understand, to vote in a new president within 60 days. So this would then usher in a period of instability before then. And then anyway, after that, any new president will be consumed by domestic issues. So let's talk about now who you think might be a likely contender should that election occur.
No, I think it's very clear. Two guys, Lee Jae-myung, the leader of the opposition party, Democratic Party. The other one is Han Dong-hun, the leader of the ruling party, representative so far. So that is why two of them were competing with each other. Actually, I think Mr. Han already noticed that. That is why he went to the assembly and told the people and media that this was a wrong decision. So see, so that is why he also has tried his best to save the ruling party in order to maintain the popularity, because he's going to represent his party and then to compete with Lee Jae-myung. But still, Lee Jae-myung has a much better chance to win the re-election.
Right. Would you agree with that Lee has a much greater chance? And what is his position, Lee's position, on China? Does it, and the US? I understand that it might differ from Yoon's.
And understand that. So Lee Jae-myung, as the leader of the opposition party right now, his policy would be to maintain good relationship with the United States and maintain the alliance relationship as well. However, the Progressive Party is known for having a troublesome relationship with Japan. So that would be one of the obstacles in which the United States would have to get involved to manage the relationship as well. As for another contender, actually, was how ruling party would have improved their image would be through the current Prime Minister, Han Duck-soo. So he is a career government official, and he was top trade negotiator for South Korea since the 70s. So he would likely be the acting president during the period of 60 days when the election was announced to be held. So his credibility as a trustable trade negotiator and economist would maybe garner some points for the ruling party in some way. So we will see some political turmoil ahead and domestic struggle between the two parties.
And being an economist, does that mean that he is more pro-China?
I think Lee Jae-myung was being accused as pro-China, and in his diplomatic statement that Taiwan Strait doesn't matter to South Korea. So I think in a way that his oversimplified statement was very problematic. However, I think the main consideration for Progressive Party would be to maintain economic security and because China is still the top trade partner for South Korea, despite the downturn in the relationship. So I think for economic prosperity, that would be the main consideration.
Right. And Professor Liu, will China be observing these developments? Will it be welcoming South Korea's instability, given that Yoon steered the country towards the US and has been fundamental to the trilateral between the US, Japan, and South Korea?
For China, about this incident, Chinese side only say this is Korea's domestic affairs, nothing related to us. But in reality, China, of course, is very concerned about South Korea. When Yoon Suk Yeol met Xi Jinping in South America, so they talked about how to improve relations with each other. In particular, Yoon Suk Yeol emphasized the security collaboration, because now Yoon Suk Yeol realized there is a possibility of strategic collaboration between China and South Korea. So is China, because both countries would want to see peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula. Now, North Korea is troublemaker. Okay, so for them, both of them. So that is why China is watching this incident very closely.
And so then, Professor Liu, does that mean that South Korea's instability, or even the movement that Professor just mentioned in terms of South Korea and China coming together, would this complicate US efforts to counter China in Asia?
I think South Korea is also under export control. So South Korea is actually heavily affected by export control imposed by the United States and Japan, actually.
And in terms of the security aspects, though, I'm curious, does an unstable South Korea or a South Korea with a president that's not so pro-US, what impact does that have on US security alliances in the region?
I think the hedging behavior among the smaller countries is not new to the United States. They have been managing this in Southeast Asia, in Latin America right now, in Africa, and now possibly to their closest allies like South Korea. So given that the pressure will be high, and no matter what, the Department of Commerce and Treasury of the United States would continue to impose a restriction and in which affecting China's supply chain that would leading to the United States.